Morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Marine Corps Movie Minute, where we're breaking down movies of the Marine Corps 1 minute at a time. I'm Jack.
Brian.
And today we're doing 125, A Heartbreak Ridge. Minute begins with Marines finally touching down and unloading in Cherry Point. And
You choke on your words there?
yeah, I mean, clearly not Cherry Point. There's like two trees I've seen in the entire scene, the entire clip. There's like two trees up in the distance. So when they're palm trees, that's bullshit. And there's no pollen in the air. What kind of in mountains? What kind of shenanigans is this?
There's no visible humidity that you regularly can see.
Yeah. It's so humid in North Carolina. Fish swim in the air. It's horrible. But yeah, and then the minute ends with a bunch of the Marines getting to visit their families, and looks like a little parade kind of thing.
Yeah. Welcome back, Perry.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I hear you guys had to do a little scramble yesterday.
Yeah. You know, a little shuffle, Marine Corps shuffle. Get this. Had to improvise, adapt, and overcome. Get some recording out of the way.
Yeah. Sorry, I couldn't make it.
We're back as a team, as it should be.
Mm-hmm.
Before we dive too deep into this minute,
Mm-hmm.
clearly at one point the music is Semper Fidelis, and that's our outro music.
Yeah, I kept wanting to just close this thing out. And I guess we're done here.
I keep waiting for the bloopers at the end, you know.
Yeah. The whole show is a blooper.
You had a chance to look at the previous minute, and of course, in the first half of this minute,
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday I was basically saying, yeah, this is Semper Fidelis the whole time, and now I'm thinking of like, is that just is the first part of this minute the beginning part of Semper Fidelis, and then I just use and then it kicks into the more familiar part that I'm just now used to because of this podcast, or was there a third? Like, so basically, there's Stars and Stripes Forever closes the movie. At this point in the movie, and which also closes our podcast, it's Semper Fidelis. That I know. But now I'm not clear if I am wrong about the music playing just before it is unmistakably Semper Fidelis. Is that a different song, or is that just the beginning of Semper Fidelis, and then it kind of just turned, the music kind of cues into something else? I'm second guessing myself now.
I think Black Sabbath's first album was a masterpiece. I think a lot of the fuck are you asking me this question? I don't think I've ever heard this song outside the movie.
Really?
Yeah,
they used to play. Well, you didn't do as many command and change ceremonies.
I was afraid you were going to say that. Yeah, but well, that time they were playing that music and they let us go. I'm sure it was. I probably would have been the only time that I would have heard it, and I wasn't thinking about. I was saying, God damn, it's hot.
Yeah. Well, because I joked. There's a previous minute. I joke with our guests. There's a shot, and I have to double check to see if we see it again this minute. But there's clearly, as they're disembarking, it's just actually they hadn't even disembarked yet. They just get a shot of the crowd, and of course we're getting the color guard. That's what we start with on this minute is a shot of over the head of the color guard looking at the plane as they literally are disembarking at this point. But they show a platoon just standing there, and it's clearly like a platoon there just for the ceremony of it all. And I joked, I said, if it was truly Cherry Point and this was 1996 instead of 1986,
yeah,
you could have seen Perry and I just standing right out there.
Yeah, it's completely true. Yeah, there's a bunch of miserable Marines like, man, I got some shit I got to be doing right now. I'm outside. Well, this is California though, and they're in a movie, so that's different than what we were doing.
This is beautiful right here.
We're sitting there, which granted, and honors given to honors. There's there was some good senior staff NCOs and some officers that we were in parade for when they retired, and that was cool. But most of them we never knew.
Oh yeah, no, I would say
they earned it. They earned every bit of that. But damn, fuck.
95% of them, I had no idea who the fuck they were.
No.
I did do the commanding general change of command, which was it sucked because it was way longer than any of the other ones.
Yep.
But it was also pretty cool because there was because it was unique. It was different than most of the other ones. There
Yeah.
was more pomp and circumstance. I like that.
Yeah.
The parade itself too is actually like I call it parade, but it's really a
Yeah. What else do
ceremony.
you call it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. The doing the actual ceremony is not terrible. It's all the practicing for a week ahead of time.
Mm,
That's what sucks because you're out there just in the middle of the day, like, and it's like, this sucks. You
yeah.
know? But
Yeah.
once you actually get the full thing going, you see all the people there, you get the music going. It's like, you see everybody dressed appropriately. They're in their, more often than not, you're not, depending on what the ceremony, who it was for, you might just be in your camis, but typically, once everybody's in their nice uniforms and, looking good and doing all the pomp and circumstances, I liked it. I like that stuff. It was better when I got to witness it from afar than actually being a part of it, though.
Yeah. You've been out there in your alphas in the middle of August.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Oh.
Yeah. But there's no mistaking this minute for 1996. This is clearly 1986 to the way everybody's dressed.
Yeah.
Check
Yeah.
out the glasses on these people.
Yeah, I know, right?
I would have to imagine most of these shots of Marines cheering are just guys that were stationed at El Toro at the time.
Yeah, like, "Hey, man, we got a working party." "Fuck. Well, it's gonna be for a movie." "Oh, cool." Yeah.
Just there doing crowd stuff. It's pretty neat. I mean, as many parades as I've been on, I've never done one on the flight
I
line.
bet you a dollar that a lot of those over there in their well, minus the band, but a lot of those that are in their Charlies,
Mhm.
I bet they're students. I bet they're like some kinda well, no, 'cause they don't have classes at El Toro. Never mind, I'm a dumb asshole.
No, some of these guys are older too. You could clearly tell. Like, there's a couple older guys, especially in the last minute. I saw like a couple older Marines, but there's like,
Oh, no, not the officers, I'm talking about the ones that are standing in formation off on the side.
oh yeah, 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 because you can see they're like little PFCs and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. He's like, "Yeah, we got something for you guys to do today."
Yeah, I'm just watching them in as we're talking, and they disembark, and it's of course it's a bunch of students with them, and so we kind of talked yesterday, and we had a question about like, well, how much time has passed between this landing and the last shot we got when Chuzu and Gunny were talking about 01 and 1, or no
Mm,
longer 01 and 1,
yeah.
and I said maybe a week. I had a guess, maybe a week, because Grenada itself was only about 4 days, so they were gone for at least 4 days of fighting. But then I'm like, what kind of rear guard kind of thing did they do, like post occupation of Grenada till to get everything set up? I don't think you would leave a Marine recon unit to that. I think they would probably send somebody else to do that.
Yeah.
I rewatched the movie yesterday, full blown. Just sat down, watched it just for shits and giggles. I caught something that I guess I kind of glossed over when we recorded. Colonel Myers says to Lieutenant Ring, see that some of these students are escorted back to Cherry Point. Yes, sir. And he runs off like a little kid, all happy.
Ah,
My guess is that was their command. You are actually going to escort them. That's what they
as
did.
a reward, go home.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Your orders are to go back to Cherry Point with these students. So maybe a day or two after the fighting, they're back home. That's my guess.
If that, if that.
Yeah, because if you notice, and we only see it at the very brief end of this minute, Quiones,
Yeah.
you can barely see it, but he's got a sling on his arm. We'll see it more next minute. But he's got a sling on his arm, but it seems like a very makeshift sling. Like it's not a cast.
Yeah.
It's just like, and if you look, like all these students are just kind of, they got their bags in hand, they're just rolling off. So
Yeah, like they're coming back from vacation.
yeah, Now, oh, I had a question for you too, because this was something I was unclear of last minute.
Sure.
Are these C-130s?
I wanna say they are.
Yeah, I
I've never seen them painted like that, though.
right, right. They almost seem like if I would think they were a C-130 Air Force because everyone we ever seen were green. It seemed like
Yeah, yeah, green or that, yeah, and that matte, cami colored paint.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't know. That's
I
what
mean,
I think.
there's a ton of them, in one of the other shots, and you just see them in the background. Although it looks like a C-130, for some reason I thought maybe they're just a slight, not not as big. So I was trying to look at like the tail. Like I don't know if any of the numbers on the back of that have anything to do with it, but like I never saw anything that said C-130. So I wasn't 100% confident, but
They've been in service for a long time, man.
yeah,
It's like the 1911 pistol. It's
yeah,
been around. I mean, they perfected the design for the most part, and it works.
yeah.
And they keep them floating or keep them
Right.
flying.
Well, my dad used to talk about Puff the Magic Dragon that he would witness in Vietnam,
Mhm.
which was basically a C-130 gunship, and
Yeah,
it
the
would just
Spectre.
yeah, and it would just light the fuck up out of everything. It looked like literally a dragon. It would just the way it shot, how fast, and just they
Yeah.
had the tracers going. He's like, man, it was amazing.
Yeah, those things are awesome. Just orbit the battlefield.
Right, right. And if you think about it, this is really only 10 years post that in,
Yeah,
you know, real life. Well, actually, well, about 16 years, but still, definitely would still be in service. But,
yeah,
yeah, C-130 rolling down the strip.
yeah. I've actually flown in one of those.
You have.
I have.
When?
I was a poolee, and they were flew us from Abilene to Dallas,
Hmm,
or, no, it was, Naval Air Station Fort Worth for
okay.
a, like a poolee event. They brought them in for, so everybody that doesn't know, a poolee is basically a recruit before you go to boot camp, like you're delayed entry. You go in with, all the recruiting station, and everybody that does their, like, little weekly, PT trainings and study groups or whatever to get ready for boot camp. Well, they had like a field day thing that lasted like it was like a weekend,
Hmm.
and they flew us out in one of those and flew us back in one too. And I'm gonna tell you, man, those things fly like a goddamn roller coaster. They can go straight up.
Hmm.
No shit. It's fun. It was fun to ride in them, and it was pretty neat.
Oh, I uh, I would have liked to have that experience. I never had that, but something tells me I would have probably wanted a helmet to puke in, ready just in case.
Yeah, it was pretty neat, man. They're pretty neat aircraft. Loud, very loud on the inside.
I've been on them. I've seen them in practice. I've never flown on one. So we get Gunny. We see Gunny come off first, Stitch and Aponte come off right behind him, and we get a repeat of last minute's line of like I said, it's a beautiful day and I'm here to play. And then we get a lot of 80s people hugging his
Yeah,
students and returning. Aponte runs up to his family, who apparently is missing one kid. So
yeah. There's a kid at home looking around in his crib. Dad, mom.
the Marines are intermingled with the students as they come off. So you get in the foreground. There's Gunny and Stitch and Aponte. Of course, Aponte breaks off because he's going to go see his family. But actually, right behind him, you see Lieutenant Ring for a brief minute.
Yep.
And I did get a brief glimpse of Keone's and actually Swede too. Over behind Gunny and Stitch as they're walking and talking, I see Fragetti, and then in the background, it's hard to miss, big old peacock Swede just walking
Yeah,
by.
yeah. Giant man.
Yeah, and like if that was Keone's in the background, we wouldn't have seen him. But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, Ponte runs up to his wife, gives her a big hug. She's got a flag. Some very 80s looking woman hugs Fragetti. Oh, and I was going to save this for like the credits, but
Mhm.
I better get out of the way now in case I forget. So I have to apologize to Lance Corporal Fragetti, to Vincent Irizarry, because apparently I have been calling him Izarari this whole time.
Oh.
And as I was watching the credits last night, I was like, "Wait, that is clearly Irizarry." Like, it's plain as day. Now, first off, in my defense, I have never, ever claimed to be good with names by any stretch of the imagination.
Well, good your answer why he never wanted to come on the show. You ruined it.
That's what I was told yesterday. Lou Jack will never come on your show now because you butchered his name.
Yeah, he's like that. Look, cocksucker won't get it right. I'm not coming on the show.
Listen, Mr. Irizarry, if you're hearing this, I apologize from the bottom of my heart. I'd like to make it up to you by having you on the show as a guest.
Better be quick.
And no hard feelings, because as somebody who's been called Byron his whole life, I know the
Yeah,
feeling. I think I subconsciously sabotage people's name because of that.
yeah, yeah. You get preemptive strike.
Right? It's my I want to watch the world burn.
Yeah, yeah,
That's probably. I think I'm sitting on a couch right now telling everybody my deepest darkest secrets. So
yeah,
I think this podcast has been therapy for me.
yeah.
I do like the line of dialogue though between Gunny and Stitch Jones as they're coming off.
Mm,
It's definitely, I like the way it shows how far their relationship has come.
yeah,
he said, Gunny's like, you'll be a civilian soon. Grow your hair long, sleep late, become an asshole rock and roll star.
Yeah.
And he said, well, Sergeant Major Chuzu gave me some re-up papers. And you signed them? Yeah.
Does he travel around with a pad? Fucking
Right.
what the fuck? Oh, I heard you had fun out on this deployment. Want to stay another 4 years?
He literally pulls out like a note. It looks like he folded up like you get from school.
Yeah, yeah, it's a permission slip.
Look,
I need my gunny to sign it.
so for my deal, I was in for 5 years, not 4, right?
Mm.
And I had never had any intention of doing any more than 5. That was always it was like, I'm doing my duty, something I want to do. But as even an 18-year-old, I was like, and I'm given 5 years as opposed to 4. I'm like, yeah, I think that's good. I think that's good enough. I mean, I saw a life beyond the Corps for me early on. Actually, even before I signed up, that was always my plan. And it didn't change once I was in. But as I got a little closer to getting out, there's times I had a poor attitude about things. I'm not gonna, lie.
I mean, everybody did. Hell, I wanted to stay in and I couldn't. But even then, I had a poor attitude. It happens. It's
Yeah. I mean, just yeah, it's the monotony,
yeah.
the just some of the bullshit bureaucracy that goes on.
Hmm.
Some of the semper I as opposed to semper fi. It's
Yeah.
there. I mean, but it's anywhere. The only
Yep.
problem is me being some gung ho, like this is a band of brotherhood, and then you get disillusioned a little bit sometimes when you see that it's not always the ideal that you
No.
made in your mind.
Nope. Not always.
No, so and like I said, that was a more of a me problem though. As far as my attitude, it is true when people say you get into it what you put into, you get out of it what you put into it. And at times, I didn't put into it as much as I should have. Let's just put it like that. That being said, I had those that didn't like me higher up, and I had those that loved me higher up,
Yeah.
and then those that just didn't care.
Yeah.
Which is really all I ever wanted. It's like I
Yeah.
don't.
You again?
Just leave me alone. Like I stay out of your way, you stay out of my way. So, but that being said, like I said, there were people that actively didn't like me or think I should. Like I remember one guy like didn't want me to get promoted, stuff like that. Some of these same people were like bugging me about re-upping. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
You want to like don't think I should get promoted. Basically, don't think I'm like basically think I got a bad attitude. Yet you still want me to re-up. I don't know what it is about these people. I
Yeah.
don't know if there's like a quota or something, but yeah, like so was never handed re-up papers, but there was definitely a push as I was getting into my 4th year. Hey, you gonna re-up? Hey, there was talk of it. Hey, go to S1, go talk to them. Hey, so it wouldn't surprise me that Sergeant Major Chuzu would get on Stitch about it. The fact that he was in an active war zone and handled him
You want some more of this?
right.
Like a crack dealer. I know. Bullets zipping by. Sign this.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Sign this. You remember those career planners?
Yeah.
Holy
Yeah, yeah.
shit, man. Those guys were used car salesmen, man. Oh, what kind of school can we get you into? Oh, yeah. Oh, hoy, hoy, hoy.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Oh, I saw a funny thing the other day. It was a recruiter, and it was like, "Hey, all right, trying to sell you on joining." And it's like, "Hey, all right, let's say it's payday. You have 875 in your account. Combo meal you want's 905 because you roll up there with that military discount. Bam, it's 845. You got that meal, and a thank you for your service." And the recruit's like, "But it's payday, and I'm only getting 875." He goes, "Don't worry about that. Did I mention the necklace, the engraved necklace that we're going to give you?
Yeah.
Is that type of thing. That's how those career planners were for you.
Yeah. Yeah, they were the one there was we had 2 of them. One of them there was a transition, but yeah, both of them, man, it was like they were made in a mold. Like, they didn't act right for Marines. They acted like used car salesmen,
Yeah. Well,
you
it's
know?
their job.
Yeah. "Hey, man, it's all so yeah, what can I do for you?" Man, get
Yeah.
the fuck outta here. You ain't gonna you'll never speak to me again if I sign something. Get the fuck out of
Yeah.
here.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
what the fuck was your name? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I was integral to making the Marine Corps work, 2 days ago. I was the next sergeant major of the Marine Corps, and now you're like, "What the fuck? Who?"
Any duty station you want. This one right here is what you want.
Yeah. Yeah.
And wherever we need you next.
Yeah. Well, it's because you knew the reason why I had to get out.
Mhm.
When they were doing that whole, like, stay in, and I did. I did wanna do, I don't know how much longer, but I wanted to do another tour, maybe, do something else, but, they're like, "Hey, yeah," it's like, "We got a duty station in Australia," and I later found out that it's like 8-hour plane trip from anywhere in Australia. That's where this place is at. It's like some kind of a sat site, like a like like, you motherfuckers, it's not the cool Australia, this is out in the fucking "we'll never see you again" Australia.
Yeah.
Fucking
What's that tiny, island that
Guam?
is it Guam? I think there's a different one though. It's like it's literally it's a Navy base, and that's literally the only thing on the island. The island is like you could it's like you could throw a stone and hit one side of the island from the other.
I think it's
It's
Guam.
no, no, no. I almost had it. Diego
Oh, Diego
Garcia?
Garcia, yeah.
Yeah.
They closed that one out.
Oh, they did.
Yeah, I think they closed that one.
That's like, that's like that type of thing. It's like I knew a guy that I was, because at Corey Station, uh, there was only 2 Marines in my training class for our MOS, and so
No.
they had assignment days, and one of the kids got for the Navy, and we just sat there because we get our orders separately, so we just watch it. And one guy's like, "Yeah, you're Garcia, huh? Well, it'll be fine. It's only 6, it'll be, like he was just trying to like talk himself into it being okay. It was very funny.
Yeah, he's like, "Fuck!"
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's screaming inside.
Crying. He's like, "Oh, no."
On a side note, and I may have mentioned this before on the podcast, but I've definitely brought this up before. There was this one guy, Navy guy, disrespectful as all get out. I could not. He acted like a spoiled child. Seriously, and he talked disrespectful to the instructor. I know one time the chief came in and he talked. Like it's like a type of kid who like would talk bad to their parents in public or something like that.
Mm.
And that's how he acted. And I was like, no Marine would fucking stand for this stuff. I'm like looking at this instructor as equivalent to a sergeant or staff sergeant. I'm like, there is no Marine staff sergeant, especially in a fucking A school, that is going to put up with some boot ass E2 or E1,
Yeah.
bullshit like this. I was flabbergasted. I could not believe it. And this is coming from a guy who at times had a poor attitude and still was like, holy
No.
crap, this kid
Yeah.
is off the, I could not believe it. And I'm like, the fact that he just kept getting away with it. And this is like, their training class is only about 2 months. But I was like, Jesus. Well, here comes assignment day. And everybody's getting pretty sweet deals except for that poor guy at, Diego Garcia. And then this guy comes up. Now, keep in mind, everybody got land bases. And this was a kid who swore up and down that he's like, he doesn't want to be on a ship. He's not going to be on a ship. He's going to get stationed at, San Diego or, just one of these places where there's a nice mill. And everybody else was getting these good deals. Most people were happy except for the Diego Garcia guy, but he was quietly dying inside. This kid, I forget what ship he got, but he got a ship and he flipped out. And they just kind of were like, well, so he just needs the Navy, and he's flipping out. The chief ended up coming in and pulling him out to go have a conversation with him. But again, the chief was still like very calm, trying to be like very fatherly and explain to him.
Meanwhile, he's like this little shit.
Once he left, the instructor went, "This kid needs a little time at sea, and they will straighten him out, and he will have a different attitude after his, 6 months to a year on ship or whatever it was." And that was how they handled him. I mean, like I said, I couldn't believe a Marine would ever like put up with that. They played the long game. They tried to give him, change his attitude. So they intentionally got him on a ship.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, even, like, you don't fuck with the people that take care of you.
Yeah.
So, like, they don't just randomly just like, "Oh, no," they just pull your shit out of a hat. No, man. All that chief had to do was make a phone call. Yeah, yeah, man. I got this guy. He's in this class, and he's a real little prick. Can we fix him? Cool.
Yeah.
No, not that one. No, not that one. Yeah, that one. Yeah, that boat sucks. Yeah, I won't put
Right.
him on that one.
Exactly. Yeah. If they get a list of needs, guess what? I mean, they're
Yeah,
going to be like, guess who's getting the shittiest duty? You
yeah.
know. As far as re-upping, Gunny questions Stitch Jones. He's like, "You signed them?" "Yes, Gunny. I'm a better Marine than I was a singer." He's like, I love his response. "You're also a lot dumber than I thought you were."
Yeah. Oh, even the Marines at re-up still thought it was a bad idea.
Yeah,
That's actually very accurate.
yeah, because Gunny's done. He said he was like, "Well, what about you?" "Nope, I've had it. No room in this man's core for me now. Besides, they've got you." And that's I like that's a good moment, between
Yeah,
those two. He kind of he smiles at him. They
yeah,
both kind of smile, but yeah, they Clint smiles at Stitch Jones, and then of course we get more crowd shots, and that's when Aponte runs up to his family. Fragetti gets hugged by somebody. Keone reaches out for somebody, and the minute ends. And scene.
yep.
Well, I mean, do you have anything else you want to cover about this minute?
No,
Okay. Okay, good.
other than Stitch's pouch is upside down on his load-bearing vest.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, Gunny still got his K bar.
Yeah.
When I was rewatching the other night, there was a scene where I think Forgetti had his trigger off, his finger off the trigger, like he
Yeah.
actually had trigger discipline. I was surprised. I was like, oh, so.
Good
But most
man.
most of them were terrible.
Yeah.
So the beginning of the end for us as we're winding down. Of course, the podcast is available on Podbean or anywhere you can find podcasts. So especially if you're just finding us for the first time, go back and binge and catch up. We're about done.
Oh, by the way,
Hmm.
should we mention our little love letter?
Oh yeah, yeah. We get some good feedback from time to time, but we got a great feedback from Pete. He just sent us a really nice email actually, and just said just gave us some feedback on the show. Gave us a little bit of information, which I actually passed along to Jeff about the Mighty Eighth, since that was a question. So we always appreciate people taking the time to reach out. One of the questions was, or comments was, hope you guys continue on. So in some capacity. So I'll just say, stay tuned. Just a little shout out to Pistol Pete.
Yeah, it's that was really nice, man. We really appreciate that.
Join us on our Marine Corps Movie Minute Quarter Deck on Facebook for our private group for additional chats and posts and stuff like that. And come back on Friday. We'll round out this week and celebrate with the Marines of Recon. As we've stated multiple times, we're getting close to the end here, Perry. Soon we'll basically be civilian podcasters at this point. We'll grow our hair long, sleep late. We're already asshole podcasters and asshole civilians. So.
Yep. And I won't grow my hair out long.
No, me neither. I just got a
No.
haircut.
Yeah.
But who knows? Maybe we'll re-up. We're a lot dumber than we look.